Well, further up I-35, a San Marcos High School orchestra has struggled to stay alive. However, the young musicians are now thriving thanks to donated instruments and a welcoming environment. In fact, it can also serve as a refuge from bullying. And now the group is on its way to a national competition. Eyewitness News reporter Sharon Coe has this report.
The sounds of the San Marcos High School Orchestra will soon fill the Lincoln Center in New York City. 1 and 2, go. This will be the first time they'll be competing on a national level.
Whatever happens on the stage, however judges feel we have performed, their opinion is valuable because it's going to help us grow.
The audience is hearing it the second time.
And orchestra director Christopher Hansen has played a major role in helping the orchestra program expand.
Coming from this big fortissimo moment at night.
He was instrumental in getting music back into the schools.
Second viola.
Years ago, he began petitioning the school board to reinstate the program. Board members later did.
There's an incredible philosopher of art and education named Maxine Greene. Greene says that many say that the arts cannot change the world, but they can change human beings who can change the world. And when people ask me why I teach in public education, I often tell them to change the world.
Orchestra students say Hansen has helped them grow as musicians.
He introduces a lot of interesting concepts in ways that are easier to understand than just this is theory and this is how he really does a good job of explaining it in a way that's actually interesting.
Because we're all going to be together.
For Roxy Moore, she says the director is the main reason why she's playing today.
1 and 2.
She was recently accepted into UT's Butler School of Music.
Without Mr. Hansen, I don't think I would still be playing my instruments. I joined orchestra when I was in 7th grade, and I wasn't really that into it. I was just kind of doing it for an elective, for something to do, and it completely changed my life.
As these young musicians prepare for the National Orchestra Cup, they're going into the competition knowing they've already won.
Having these students experience this and appreciate that this opportunity has come because they made a conscious decision to be involved in art, that I think is the most valuable thing we're going to get out of the trip.
Sharon Coe, KENS 5, Eyewitness News.
Now, as you can imagine, a trip to New York is expensive. The kids and the school have been fundraising, but are still short. In fact, some of the students have already given up going. If you would like to help, they have a GoFundMe page. Just head over to our website at kens5.com.